Wednesday.
I can't.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and call the 7 o'clock meeting to order. You can all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Village Clerk, please call the roll. Burgess. Here. Jones. Here. Myers. Here. States. Here. Washington. Here. Williams. Here. At this time, I'd like to know if we could have a motion from Mayor Pro Tem. The mayor did email me and say he will not be able to attend this meeting. Trustee Myers, if you could adjust your motion to appoint the Mayor Pro Tem.
So move the motion to appoint the Mayor Pro Tem.
Second.
If you could amend your motion again, Trustee Myers, to add a name in your motion.
I would like to appoint, board would like to appoint Trustee Rosie Williams, the Mayor Pro Tem tonight.
Thank you, sir.
That's clear, right?
Thank you.
Last second.
Okay, thank you very much. Just so we're all on the up and up. Village Clerk, please call the roll. Burgess.
You said you would like to appoint. You like to make a motion to appoint. But you can't appoint by yourself, just, you know. Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Tate.
Yes.
Washington. Yes.
Yes. Excuse me. Oh. Item number 2, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Item number 2, public comment. All questions will be directed to the chair. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes to comment. Each speaker will be allowed one opportunity to speak. Do you have anybody? Okay, seeing none. Reports of officers. Hold, please. We will start with the mayor's report. And the mayor stated, please report the following. The budget review schedule will be Wednesday, April 20th, 2016, between 6 and 9. Thursday, April 21st, 2016, between 6 and 9. And Friday, April 22nd, 2016, between 6 and 9, if needed. And he's hoping it's not needed. Department head schedules and agenda for each night will be included in next week's packets. And that is from the mayor.
Repeat the dates, please.
Okay, the 20th and the 21st from 6 to 9, and the 22nd if necessary.
Thank you.
That's okay.
I just wanted to know, could you ask, whenever you see him, and probably Mr. Fairman may ask, are we going to get a copy of last year's budget so we can have some comparison?
Would you like that in Friday's packet?
Yeah, I would like that before we actually go over, so we can kind of, I mean, is it going to come from you, is it going to come from?
We can ask the finance director to include that with the packet of the current budget.
Right, so we can have a comparison, so we can kind of get ahead of the game.
I will email the finance director, the village administrator, and the mayor.
Mayor Pro Tem, has your committee, has the Budget and Finance Committee already reviewed that document or documents?
I was going to report on it in our committee,
Oh,
because we actually met today.
I'm sorry.
We actually met today, and we started part of it, and we have recessed the meeting to meet again, to finish it.
All right, thank you.
Can I just say, Trustee Burgess, that the budget is online. If you don't have your copy from last year, if you want to start with it, it's online.
Okay, I mean, but
I mean, right, if you want to get it sooner than the finance company gives it to you, it is online.
no, I was just wondering, whenever they get through, can we get a copy of last year's budget so we can have something to compare to, so we kind of look it over? Okay, that's all.
Item number B, or letter B, village clerk, Debbie Williams.
Thank you, Madam Pro Tem.
Question?
We're in the process of finalizing a job/resource fair for April 28th. That's Thursday, April 28th, from 3 to 7 p.m. I don't want to say exactly who's going to be here at this time. I can tell you that so far Aunt Martha's Helping Start is confirmed. Bloom Township will be here providing energy assistance. Neighborhood Housing Services will be here regarding foreclosures and other housing assistance. And we have several other people that are interested in attending but have not been confirmed. April's a very busy month. We have Aunt Martha's, a representative who is working on the job fair part of that. By Friday or either Monday at the latest, he will provide me a list of the people that will be coming for the job fair. We have 2 Walmarts opening up in the area. We have Olympia Fields and we have Richland Park. He's working directly with the people from Walmart, so he will be helping people fill their applications out and get the applications directly to the people that are taking applications for Walmart. So particularly for the young people that will be looking for work this summer, we really would like to get the word out that it will be e-blasted, there will be flyers, it will be on the internet, probably as early as Monday of next week, there will be flyers, it will be on Facebook. But right now I'd like to announce that it's Thursday, April 28th from 3 to 7 p.m. And secondly, anybody who has not filed their statement for economic interest, you only have till May 1st before you will be fined, and they don't play about that. So if anybody needs help getting their statement of economic interest statements done, I can help you on the computer. You can come into my office, we can do it right there, just to make sure that it gets done. We've also had, unfortunately, several Open Meetings Act violations. Most of them have been resolved, some of them are still outstanding. I spent some time on the phone with one of the public access counselors from the Attorney General's office to see what we can do to kind of cut down on some of these Open Meetings Act violations. And one of the things that we talked about was the presence of 2 or more trustees and or mayor in the same room at the same time. There's several meetings. There's the meet the mayor, there's the town hall meetings, there's individual committee meetings. And it gets a little, I want to say, loose sometimes, where there's more than 3 in a room and discussions take place that are inappropriate. And there are people that are noticing this and they're sending reports into the Attorney General's office. And I warned the trustees, and I'll say it again, I've said it before, that number 1, your meeting agendas, regardless whether you're having a board meeting like we're having now, or whether it's a subcommittee meeting, or whether it's a meeting where you have a chair and a co-chair that are both trustees, your agendas must be posted 48 hours in advance in the building that you're having the meeting. In the case of Trustee Jones, because he meets at the Parks and Recreation Center, he doesn't have to post an agenda in this building. He had an agenda posted inside the building, but there was a violation filed because they didn't see it. He said it was posted, but it was in the building. So what I've asked Trustee Jones to do, and what I'm going to ask all the trustees to do, is to make sure that we post our agendas, and that includes me as the clerk, where we're posting our agendas on the glass of the door on the east side of the village hall, as well as on the cork strips. So this is brought up a number of times that if we can't see what somebody posted over the weekend, but it was legitimately posted within 48 hours, the only way that we can alleviate violations of the Open Meetings Act from even being presented to the Attorney General is supposed to, if you'll notice tonight before you came in, the 6:45 meeting, the 7 o'clock meeting, and the Budget and Finance and Public Relations meeting, and the Ordinance Review meeting that was held today, and Trustee Meyer's meeting, and the Public Relations meeting. I know it looks kind of, right now it looks kind of bad. There's 5 agendas on the glass, but you know what, we're in compliance. I'm going to work on a way of getting some type of board or something that we can insert our agendas in, but right now it's all about compliance. Because little do people know, we could be fined a lot of money if we are found in violation of an Open Meetings Act. Not only do we have to pay the attorneys to represent us back and forth on these allegations, but if anybody is found guilty of an Open Meetings Act violation, there is a cost to it. They don't just slap you on the wrist. So I want to caution everybody. If you have any questions at all about the Open Meetings Act, I'd be happy to help you. The attorney can help you, and we'll give you a copy of it if you need. Thank you very much. That concludes my report.
Ms. Mayor, Ms. Clerk, are you saying that the meetings that the trustees have, you cannot have more than 2 trustees at that meeting for their committee meetings?
Yeah, thanks for bringing that back up because I kind of glanced over that. As we've discussed before, trustees can be in attendance, but they cannot contribute to the conversation.
Okay.
Like in the case of you have your meeting with your co-chair, all the trustees and the mayor can be in attendance, but once they start contributing verbally to the discussion, it becomes a violation of the Open Meetings Act.
Okay.
And not only that, but you have to stick to your agenda.
Absolutely.
If your agenda says that you're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, the minute you get outside of your agenda, whether it's just the two of you or more than the two of you, now you've violated the Open Meetings Act. You have to specifically stick to the items on your agenda. The reason why we post agendas is to let the public know what we will be discussing. If the public is interested in being in attendance when you're discussing, in your case, the water, or in Rosie's case, the Sauk talk, they need to know what's being discussed at your meetings. If you decide to talk about something that's not on the agenda, the public did not have the opportunity to be present.
Okay.
That's why it's important that it's posted where they can see it and that you stick to your agenda.
Okay, but in my case, I did get some information today, but it's not on the agenda because I didn't get it at the time that my agenda was posted or that I made up the agenda. But I need to.
In that case, I would suggest that everybody, because I think that this could happen again, leave room for maybe new business. That's not really, it doesn't really specify, attorney, is that correct? As long as you have new business that's not entirely specified, maybe?
You can introduce it,
Introduce it, no action.
discuss it, can't take any action.
Right, that's true.
Okay, so we can bring it up, we can discuss it, me and my co-chair, at the committee meeting, that and then, wait another 2 weeks or another month until we have another meeting, or?
Whatever your next meeting is, it's posted, and you're gonna take action on or make a
Okay.
recommendation.
Okay,
You would then from here on in put new business on your agenda so
Right.
that if something does come up from month to month,
okay,
you would be able to bring it up, just like you said, to discuss it. I also noticed that you posted your agenda with a time limit for your public works meeting. You actually have a 3-minute time limit on there. I'm assuming that that's okay, attorney, because we have a 3-minute time limit on our board meeting. And so on our committee meetings and subcommittees, we can put a time limit on our discussion. Okay, so.
I think it's a-
Yes, that's right. So if anybody has any questions, I'm just trying to stop the whole thing about going to report to the Attorney General. All they want is compliance.
and the same thing, okay, I do have a town hall meeting, the same thing with that, they could be present, but they can't contribute, which makes sense.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And you don't have an agenda at your town hall meeting?
No, I
so
don't.
It's not really a committee meeting?
Right.
But it's still an open meeting that takes place in the village hall where could be more than 2 trustees present.
Right?
But once the 3rd trustee walks in the room, the trustees are really not supposed to contribute to the
Okay,
conversation.
that makes sense, because I don't do that. The last thing, Madam Clerk, the economic interest website, do you have that website?
You go to cookcountyclerk.com, but they should have sent you an email with a link.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then,
Okay.
have you ever accessed it online?
yes, I have.
Because you have an email, they
I have.
ask you for your password.
Right,
If you don't remember your password, hit forgot password,
Right.
and send it to you.
right.
It just takes a couple of minutes.
Okay, no, I've been doing it since they've had it online, but I just didn't have but now I do remember now, it comes from thank you.
Does anybody else need it? Yes. Do you need the link for the ethics statement? Trustee Myers, do you need it? I'm sorry. Village Clerk, are you done?
I'm good.
Okay. Item letter C, Village Attorney.
Thank you, no report.
Okay. D, Mr. Jim Zarnick.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
You know what you're saying, right?
Okay, 3 items. First, as discussed at the special meeting, the village will be applying for $400,000 of CDBG funding to be utilized for street repairs. If the funding is granted by Cook County, then design and construction of these repairs will commence in 2017. Second, we are also applying for federal funding for improvements to 223rd Street from Sauk Trail to Torrance Avenue. If approved, the village will receive 80% of the project costs from federal funding, or about $600,000. This project would also be designed and constructed in 2017. Finally, we are submitting the annual report for the village's stormwater permit compliance work that occurred between March 2015 and March 2016. And that concludes my report. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Zarni.
I got a question.
Trustee
Can
California.
you clarify, what did you say from Torrance? You said from Sauk Trail to 223rd on Torrance?
It's 223rd from Sauk Trail to Torrance. You know how it loops around? 223rd west of Torrance, and then it connects up to the north through Cornell. Sorry. It follows Cornell up and connects up to Sauk Trail. That's a federally designated route that we got approved a couple years ago, and that allows us to get federal funding for it.
Good. Good.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
I have one brief question, and I'm not sure, I'm glad you two are sitting next to each other. There's some conversation about the CDBG monies, if received, are going to be used to do curbs, curb cuts, etc. Is that correct?
No, most of CDBG money, LFT money goes to street work at this time?
Does that include curbs?
No. Yes, in the areas that they will be doing street work, they'll be doing handicap accessible crosses, there'll be curb repairs, driveway aprons if needed, street work, patchwork, and then the final of the road.
Has the specific areas been identified so the residents are aware that this activity may occur where they reside?
Well, with the money we're asking for, we don't always get it all, so we have some roads that are designated already. Until we know the money amount, we won't know the exact streets.
All right, thank you.
Anything else? Okay. Village Administrator, Director of Public Safety, J.W. Fairman Jr.
Madam Pro Tem Mayor, our report goes as follows. The URC crime report is that for the first quarter of 2015, the URC reportable crime is down 57% of the same period last year. For vacant housing, by the way, as an aside, Reed Paxton, I went to Joliet to visit with the housing authority out there, and we found some interesting things about that group helping people that want to be homeowners, and counsel them and that type of thing. We haven't gotten all of the information together yet, but we've been looking at it. We've got a couple other places to look at that have some similar situations, so we'll be reporting on that at some time in the future. But vacant housing, we had, as last meeting, our vacant housing list was pretty high. Now it shows that we have 42 vacant homes. Vacant homes, we have 383 houses. Vacant but occupied, we identified that before as not having permits or water counts and all the inspections. That is 36 houses. The number of houses on the demo list is 8. We've also been working on this scavenger contract, and we're waiting on the vendor to complete this accounting of our residents of homes minus the vacant houses to determine more than likely what we're going to owe them. Hopefully that's not the case. That's just a guess on my part. Water accounts. For the first quarter of 2016, the village has collected $30,706.73, or 10.87% more than the same period a year ago. This equates to a 2016 projection of approximately $122,826.92, and that is about 1/3 of the amount that is out there to be collected. We have submitted, as some of the trustees know, and maybe I'm sure the mayor, or Madam Mayor Pro Tem, we've recommended for the village towing penalties be set aside by ordinances in a dedicated fund for police vehicles purchased at or related costs. That is, we are drawing an amendment up to for the board to review to see if that actually, in fact, would be another item set up on the budget or in a separate account. This amendment has been prepared by attorneys that are being reviewed by the Sauk Village Police Department, and we will push it through the appropriate process thereafter. Staff recommendations for vehicles found on property identified by the village as vacant will be stickered and ticketed and towed by the SVPD within 48 hours. That ordinance is still under review by attorneys, and we will take no action until that ordinance is subsequently reviewed and accepted or denied. Staff recommendation for after-hour turn-off fees be increased to $250 before turn-off fees, be increased to $200. So after our return on fees, $250, before our turn on fees is increased to $200. This proposal has been prepared by attorneys and sent to the Public Works Committee on 11/16 for recommendations. Staff recommended for this request not to exceed $15,000 to update the civic computer system on all financial components of the village has been completed by attorneys and sent to the Finance Committee on 4/12 today, and we will be discussing it. 50% of collected debt derived from water, sewer disposal, and utility taxes shall be set aside in a reserve fund for the purchase of public works vehicles or related capital costs and still under review by attorneys. Miscellaneous issues that we have, Owens Group has completed its first review of the employee handbook and will meet with me for a second review on tomorrow, Wednesday. And subsequently, there will be a review with each department head, possibly an itemized, individual interviews, and probably at one point, when we finish it, it will be submitted to the board. Staff continues to review employee insurance coverage and interview an insurance group to ensure that Sauk Village is receiving the best cost at a best coverage at a competitive cost. We will make a proposal to the board prior to the village annual budget. Maybe it'll be a little late, but we're going to do it. Budget, the mayor, the finance director, and I finalized the 2015 and 2016 annual budget, which will be presented to the board fairly soon. Next week or less. That concludes my report.
Okay.
Madam Pro Tem?
Okay.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Fairman, could you go back and tell us what URC, you said URC?
Uniform crime reporting.
And that's all the crime in the city, in the village, or?
Yes, it's all the crime in the village by month.
Okay, so this went down, you said it went down 50%?
57% since this period last year.
Okay. Also, you reported that you have 42 vacant homes?
No, I have 427.
Okay, because I thought I heard 42, 427. Okay, and the employee handbook, is it completed enough that the board could look at it?
No, but as you know from Ms. Valerie comments at this board before, she because it's being prepared and that stages are set up, she's going to have it presented to the board before we say it's a finalized topic. So we're just in the preliminary stages. She has to interview all the department heads. She has to talk to us about what is required, not just what we want. The contract costs that we have to talk to Felicia, attorney on labor issues, that type of thing. Because
the reason I was asking, the last time we did it, I think it was 2009, I'm just wondering, is it that much of a difference that they are charging $7,000 for, and then you asked to have it redone every year?
No, I don't have a time period, but this has not been done for a long time.
2009.
Okay. Well, that's what part of the problem we run into is that things have changed and not been updated. Really.
Okay, because I'm just wondering, I just wonder what are they changing? Is that dramatic that they're charging that, because they're basically going to look at what we had and probably add to that or take away, and I was just wondering as far as the cost. And this company that's doing this, these are our lawyers?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's why
I thought it was the insurance.
Well, they are our what is it? Our insurance. They are our insurance.
The Owens, okay, so because you said our lawyers, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Well, no, it's the Owens Group, and as she stated at the last presentation, because we're doing that, the rates will be reduced, have been reduced, and is continuing, will be reduced further, because we're going to save the village by $18,000 by conducting our own monthly safety reviews, and they will come out quarterly. It's $2,000 for a while, that would be like $24,000, and we're going to use their process, and we'll be amending it with them so we can make sure we get some more savings.
Okay, because we were talking when they came and presented, actually, we went up, our rates went up over this last period, over this last year. And so now you're saying that we're going to actually go down, and I'm hoping that that's true, because it did go up from this year to last year because of other factors, and I'm just
It didn't go up much, and as she stated, it went up some, but it's just 1%, but also the self-insurance carriers went down to be allowed to be at that level.
Okay, well, up is up, and, okay, but I'm just looking at, you know, this will actually, and you're stating that this handbook will actually lower our premium to the other vendors that we contract with for insurance.
Yes, it will.
Thank you.
Question.
Trustee Tate.
You mentioned, you started out by talking about the towing fee set aside. I have not seen any document. Towing fees? Did you say something about towing fees earlier?
Yes.
Okay. I have not seen any document regarding that. Is that going to be provided to the trustees? I mean, what's your game plan on that?
As a matter of fact, our towing fees, I think that we said that it's still under review by our attorneys. The ordinance, proposed ordinance change. We'll get it when we get it.
Oh, I thought you also mentioned that the departments were looking at it. The police department?
The departments will be looking at specifically the handbook and any ordinance that affects their department.
Okay. Let me back up again. On towing fees alone, where is the document on that? Who has possession of that?
Still under review by the attorney.
Okay, all right. And I had looked, Trustee Burgess, my figure's different from yours on the handbook. Because as I recall, it was like $8,500 that, and I could be wrong, if you could just, one of us is wrong. We don't have anyone on staff who's capable of revising documents that we're going to pay $8,500 for someone to sit down and
We
revise.
have no
documents.
professional personnel specialists on this staff. No.
All right, thank you.
Trustee Myers.
On the handbook, once again, have you asked any of the trustees, I know I haven't asked about anything or any input on the, to go into the handbook for the employee or the residence handbook?
As I said earlier, we, as a staff, are going to give it to the trustees before we actually vote on it. Right now, it's just a work in progress. She hasn't even reviewed it with all the department heads. Again, the trustees will be to have the final say on what's going to be submitted to the board and subsequently approved or not. So it will be given.
I understand that we given those to a vote on, but I'm asking, I know I haven't asked for any type of input at all, just personal input about this entire village or anything that can help us to rewrite this handbook. I mean, if we can help any way at all, it might save us a couple of dollars. And I know there's quite a bit of information out there that we can get.
Mr. Myers, we give it to all the trustees so that they can make whatever recommendations that they may want to make individually reflected. We cannot go, nor will we try to push stuff through the board of that nature without the trustees reviewing it, making recommendations, recommended changes and something. Push it on to be voted on by the committee, board. If you want to see it early, I have no problem with it, but I don't have a piece of paper completed that I can give it to you right now. She just did the interview, and now she's bringing back the rough copy for me to review it with. And she's going to review it with all the staff. You can read, if you want to be involved, I have no problem.
You said the magic word, you're going to review it with the staff. Well, do you have an anticipated date that's going to happen?
That will be made, a date will be made tomorrow. You know, be kind of like, when is she available, then we'll talk to staff, and give a couple of days, and then we'll set a date for them to come out and talk to individual staff.
All right.
Just a follow-up.
Trustee Tate.
How many, do you know roughly, are there going to be several chapters to this handbook or sections? And the reason I'm asking that, rather than the trustees receiving 20 chapters to review, if as they're completed one by one, they could be submitted for review and comment?
You know, I don't see that being necessary. You want to do that, that's fine. What it does is there's a cost involved with other people. Now, I'm not going to characterize the handbook, but to say that what one of the members of the audience asked me before, you know, that's why we asked that a professionally trained group associated with the Village Student Orange Group would bring forth an update of the manual, because it appears, on my opinion alone and some others' opinion, I won't give their names, that it did not cover it.
Okay, back to my original question. Are we going to receive it piecemeal, chapter by chapter, to look
That's not the initial plan.
Why isn't it?
Because we want to give you a completed project.
Anything else? Okay. Moving on to reports of trustees and board committees. Beautification committee, I do have that report. Beautification committee will have their community clean sweep May 21st, 2016 from 9:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. behind the Village Hall. Please join us in our spring cleaning task for this year. Our targeted areas will be the public buildings and the village access roadways. We ask residents to please pick up litter on or near your own property. June 4th, 2016, our committee will host a community flea market / craft show from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Spaces are available at a non-refundable cost of $10 each space and a limited number of tables for rent at $3 each. We can be reached at svbeautification@saukvillage.org or 708-758-3330 and leave a message. Proceeds from the event will provide ongoing support to our committee. Both flyers are on the table or out in the hallway. We now have a Facebook page, which is Beautification Committee of Sauk Village. Our next meeting will be April 20th, 2016 at 10 a.m. at the Village Hall. That ends the report. Okay. Item B, Parks and Recs Committee, Trustee Jones.
I'd like to say, Kevin, you did a great job on the floors over there. Your team did a fantastic job. It looks really nice. And the patching and the paint and touch up, that came out real nice too. April 30th at 11 to 3 p.m. There will be an open gym. And also in conjunction with that, there will be summer program registration. The flyers should be out sometime in the middle of next week with all the details and all the sign-ups and the activities that will be presented. And that's it for my report.
Public Works, Trustee Burgess.
Thank you, Madam Pro Tem. Tomorrow here at the Village Hall, we will have our Public Works meeting, the executive portion with myself and my co-chair, Trustee Calvin Jones. We'll start at 6:30, and at 7 o'clock we will have I'm new to this as far as subcommittee. Okay. We will have the subcommittee meeting at 7 o'clock here in the Village Hall. So we have a pretty decent agenda, and at 7 we would try to hear some input because there's some things we'll be going over and to present these things back to the Board of Trustees to be voted on. So 6:30 will be our executive session or our standing committee session with myself and Trustee Jones, and then 7 o'clock we'll have the subcommittee. I'm used to just one committee. So, also, I just want to say that we need, and I talked to Kevin today, and some things that we're also going to be discussing tomorrow that we need to kind of look at to enhance his department. So I did have a chance to talk to him, so I will be bringing that input out to the, I'm sorry, I don't know why, but to the co-chair. So with that done, that's all I have.
Okay. Housing and Intergovernmental Committee, Trustee Gates.
Thank you. We had a meeting, the committee, the housing committee, and I talked about it separately. The housing committee had a meeting on March 31st. And one thing, we don't have a subcommittee. One thing is that we discussed is the development of a document that notifies new residents, or matter of fact, all residents can get the same information of what they need to do or what they can expect as far as services from Sauk Village. Years ago, there was a welcoming packet that was available to new residents and was given to them, and they had a chance to look to see who to call for water or who to call for anything that they needed, and somehow that's fallen off the table. So we're going to see if we can find that document updated. I think someone...
Trustee Chase, not to interrupt you, but there is still a book that goes out to the residents. I don't know if Ms. Jasinski, after you're done with your report, if she wants to kind of go over that process.
I've updated that book and I've been keeping it updated with changes with trustees and, elections and stuff. I do have a copy. I give to all residents who come into a water service. I would be happy to give you a copy. It has some specific ordinances in it. Talks about village stickers, it has phone numbers for all the utilities.
Okay.
I have that in place already.
Okay, I'd like to get a copy of that from you so that they're not...
It's also online. Just for residents' information, it's also online. But if...
Well, new residents may not know
Right.
that, so coming in, they have to come up here anyway.
Absolutely.
Anybody who gets on a water account gets handed the resident.
Okay.
Okay.
And that was one thing that we discussed, because we had been told that they weren't receiving anything when they came in to learn about the village. So we just wanted to make sure that they're getting all available information. The Intergovernmental Committee, we met also. Now we have what we call the Community Service Advisory Council, and this is a group of residents, and their job is going to be to assist in outreach with other communities and other entities and find out what are they doing, if anything, that we could do to enhance Sauk Village. And we've already made some preliminary contacts about programs that they have, activities that they have that may in fact be good for Sauk Village. So we're going to pursue this. We're a little behind time schedule because we were waiting. We've been delayed as things go on. So we just had a first meeting on the 31st to try to get this back on track and see if we can find out what other communities are doing that we can possibly do, even though we don't have the financial wherewithal that they may have. There still may be things that we can do that would enhance Sauk Village. That's all I have, Madam Pro Tem.
Thank you, Trustee. Public Safety and Ordinance Review Committee, Trustee Myers.
Thank you, Madam Pro Tem. Couple items tonight. I will have a meeting for the subcommittee for the ordinance review. We'll meet here Thursday, 7 p.m. in the conference room. The items we'll be looking over. Hope and not rushing Trustee Burgess Committee, but if we have any type of input from the review of the ordinance or the water turn-on fee, I will bring that to the committee. If we don't, then we'll hold it over until we get your entire package, sir. The second item, we also be going over and looking at the minimum requirements for the department here. Third item, the parade committee has sent out approximately now about 150 parade entries and letters to various organizations and people to be in it. Basically, the parade, the residents have invited anybody that wants to come and be part of the parade, just have some fun. The theme is going to be red, white, and blue. You can put a decorated bike in, the kids can put their bikes in decorated. We'll put it in a classification and judge it. If you have a antique car, fine, throw it in the parade. We'll have a category for the antique car. So far I have 7, 8 Today I got the 9th one, commitment from the various support from our stores and industrial people. Roadways said they'll be there, Carolina will be there, Bear Paint representative will be there. One pack is going to get together with their people and throw something in it. So everybody is coming together and being represented. Once again, I urge the residents to come out, put something in there, and then we're going to end up down here where there's some various vendors here. Then look like there'll be a firework. That'd be the next item. I have received today the application, and once the chief looks at it and pass it, I will take it to the fire marshal's office, make sure that individual, whether he gets it or not, everybody has to be checked out through the fire marshal, make sure they have their proper license. And there's a couple of new things on the shooting this year. All the shooters and handlers has to be licensed through the fire marshal's office. So I do need once you get those applications in JW, I do need that where I can process it and check it out. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Madam Pro Tem.
Trustee Burns.
Trustee Myers, 2 questions. The application for anyone that wants to be in the parade, is that coming through you?
I will hand out all the trustees. I've just made up some more. Yes, come to me. Yes.
Okay, and the fireworks, has anyone said how they're going to be financed?
I haven't even received any of that. I haven't even got the application. I don't know. Today they said they had one on board, and I urged we have to get them into the fire marshal's office, get them checked out, and time's getting short. So if we're going to have one, we're going to have to get them checked out.
No, I'm saying how are they going to be financed?
And I said I haven't been. I know. I just on that note, though, I have received some donations that came in. Nolan said they came in. I don't know exactly how much. They come in, they go underneath the committee, and I hope it doesn't go to the general fund, but as they come in, they put it under our line and we'll take it from there. But as they come in, I'll let you know, sir.
Thank you.
Neighborhood Watch Committee, Trustee Washington.
Thank you, Madam Pro Tem. First of all, I just want to say that we had our neighborhood watch meeting as we do the second Monday of every month. And we had a very great meeting and got a lot accomplished in regard to greeting the village and getting Black Club captains from every block in the village at our meeting on yesterday, as well as talking about the play. I am so excited about the play and so excited about this live performance on this coming Friday. We have finally arrived to the point where the play is going to happen. After 3 months of rehearsing every single Saturday, I am so excited with the intent that the play was meant to happen, was to bring community involvement together, to see people in the village and outside of the village that don't even know each other, coming together, working on scenes, working on plays, writing their scripts so that they could get to know one another with the title of the play, Are You My Neighbor? Some people are neighbors and they have no idea who lives on their block. Also, another reason for us doing the play was to have an incentive to get new Black Club captains throughout the village, which we have been able to do. And I am so excited about that as well, and we'll be highlighting them at the play on Friday night at Rickover School. And finally, the reason for having the play was to get a jump on the commitment that Neighborhood Watch made to double the number of book bags that we passed out in the past, which was 250 book bags at our last annual book bag giveaway, to 500 book bags this year with school supplies. That means that 500 students in this school district and also Bloom Trail will go to school on the first day with a brand new book bag with supplies in them, sponsored by Neighborhood Watch and Friends. I want to thank all of you all for your donations. I want to thank all of you all for your phone calls because of all of the adversity and because of all of the advertisement and all of the social media talking about Neighborhood Watch and what we got going on. I only wanted to raise maybe $500 or $600 to give us a jump on the other 250 book bags that we needed, that we were going to stretch Neighborhood Watch to do. But I am happy to report with all of the advertisement that Neighborhood Watch have gotten, the phone calls have been coming in, and to date, we have collected $980, and the play has not even happened. That is awesome. $980. People have been calling my phone, what's going on with Neighborhood Watch? Oh, I want to donate to that, I want to give. So if we get even $200 or $300 across the door, we will have far surpassed what we wanted to do just to get a jump. One thing about Neighborhood Watch and about myself, Trustee Washington, I'm not going to jail for anybody. I'm just not. I'm not going to steal no crayons and no glue and no pencil and no crayons. Whatever Neighborhood Watch is doing, if you want to FOIA it, if you want to know how much money we're raising, I've always been very transparent with Neighborhood Watch. You can ask me what you want to know. I don't necessarily hear other committees talk about how much they raise with their committee, whatever their committees host or whatever's going on in their buildings or at their meetings. But I have no problem letting people know what we're doing because I'm a person that don't mind knocking on doors. I don't mind asking for what I need for the children. I see Block Club captains out here tonight, and I want to appreciate all of you. And when I get the mic at Rickover, trust me, I have plenty to say that night, and I'm going to thank you guys for your work. In spite of, we have met our mark, and we only have a little ways to go to get the rest of the budget that we need, and I believe that Neighborhood Watch will be able to fulfill that commitment. That's a lot of hard work. And I want to say in conclusion, when we did the video, Happy, all of the Neighborhood Watch captains that want to be in it. Trustee Myers was in it, dancing at the fire station. We went to the school district, the school board members participated, but all the Block Club captains and some of the residents didn't want to participate in the video Happy. But it was to bring the community together in another kind of atmosphere to get to know one another. What we're doing with the play, all the Neighborhood Block captains don't want to be in it. Some of the members don't want to participate, but that's okay because the play is going to be a success. The people that are coming, I wish I could tell. It's like when you buy toys for your kids for Christmas and you can't hardly wait. You want to let them do it a week before, but you know you can't ruin the surprise. It's going to be funny. It's going to be comical. A lot of people right here are going to be in it. I want to give a personal invitation to all of the elected officials and department heads and all the residents and all of those that are videotaping and streaming live this meeting. I want to personally invite you to come Friday, April the 15th to Rickover at 6 o'clock. The doors will open, and at 6:30 the play will start. And it's going to be great, and that's all I can say about it at that point. We're going to be having tag days. We always do that with Neighborhood Watch in the month of July. Will all the Block Club captains participate in tag days? Absolutely not. For those that do, we appreciate all of you that do volunteer. So again, I want to thank you for all of the advertisement and for all of the pub, talking about Neighborhood Watch and talking about the committee, talking about the book bags and what's going on. As of today, we have raised $980. And I challenge somebody to give us another $20 tonight before I leave, and it'll make us have $1,000 if we haven't even had the play. So keep on talking about Neighborhood Watch, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. Budget and Finance and Community Relations Committee, Trustee Williams. The Budget and Finance Committee did meet earlier today, as I stated earlier, and we did review the budget. We are not done. It is a work in progress. So we did recess the meeting until tomorrow at 3 p.m., where at that time we will continue to review the document. As I stated earlier, with the email that the mayor was not going to be here tonight, he did announce the scheduled budget review dates. So I think there was a couple people who walked in since I announced that, so I will re-announce them. The budget will be reviewed by the board on April 20th and 21st from 6 to 9 p.m. and the 22nd, which is Friday, if necessary, and the mayor said he hopes it's not necessary. The last couple of years we have been able to kind of do it in a quicker fashion, so hopefully we won't need that extra day. Also was stated that the agenda for those meetings, as far as department heads and what time, will be put in the boxes for the trustees. The mayor said that he would do that as soon as he has, and I think it was by this Friday. So look out for that. Also, at that meeting, we spoke about, as requested by the mayor, spoke about the 60th anniversary that's coming up next year and the subcommittee. And we also spoke about the 4th of July festivities. And as the mayor directed, I think 2 meetings ago, for the Public Relations Committee to start looking for vendors for that day, for any festivities or anything that's going to be happening in the park. So we have started that process, and we just overviewed it in the committee meeting, or the committee meeting today, but the subcommittee meetings will kind of take those on and go forward with that. And we will report to you guys on both of those items as stuff comes up. And that's all I have. Number 5, reports of departments, committees, and commissions. Fire Department, 911 Commission. Mr. Suffering?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Board. Over the past 3 weeks, fire department responded to 30 calls, 3 vehicle accidents, 7 fire alarms, 10 medical assists, 1 CO call, 3 gas leaks in homes, 1 vehicle fire, electrical wires down, 1 smoke investigation, assist another agency with a structure fire. And that is all I have for.
Thank you. Police Department, Chief Kowalski, he is sick with cause today, but Mr. Freeman does have his report.
Yes, the chief is out yesterday and today because his wife had some surgery, so I'm making his report for him. Police service case summary for the period of 3/22/2016 through 4/12/2016. The Sauk Village Police Department had a total of 26 arrests. Of the arrests reported, 2 were felony arrests and 24 were misdemeanor arrests. The CALCOM report for the period between 3/22/2016 and 4/12/2016, the Police Department received 766 calls for service. Case of notes. On 3/23, a victim reported that her boyfriend posted inappropriate pictures of her on the social media Twitter account. The ex-boyfriend was located and arrested for posting the obscene photograph of his ex-girlfriend. On 3/24/2016, officers called to Walgreens on a report that an individual offender was trying to have inappropriate photographs developed. The photos were recovered and turned over to the detectives, and the person offender who tried to recover the photographs was contacted. The photographs were explicit, ion nature, and the offender was charged with obscenity. On 3/28/2016, detectives on a domestic call talked to the victim at Christ Hospital. It was determined that while the victim was moving out, his girlfriend became angry and stabbed him in the back with a knife. After the offender was released from the hospital, since she also sustained wounds. From the struggle, she was arrested and charged with aggravated battery or aggravated domestic battery. On 4/6/2016, officers received a call of a fight in progress on the 1700 block of 225th Street. Upon arrival, the officer found the offender needed medical assistance and was transported to Christ Hospital. The officers learned that the offender was driving when he saw 4 victims playing basketball and tried to run them over with his car. The offender drove up on the parkway and struck 2 of the victims. The offender then exited his vehicle and struck another victim in the neck with a pin and struck another victim with an ice scraper. The 4 victims protected themselves and fought with the offender. The witnesses corroborated the entire incident, although the offender ended up in the hospital. The offender was charged with unlawful use of a weapon. Crime-free housing. The police department continues to work with Gary Holcomb and his group. We're also working with the Housing Authority of Cook County. They assist us with revoking housing assistance vouchers from individuals who commit crime in Sauk Village. This is a great tool being provided to the police department in accordance with the Blueprint Plan. Fiscal responsibility. It was learned that the previous administration entered into a non-cancelable agreement with delayed landed financial services for a landmarks credit used by the police department. The village is obligated to pay 22 more months at a cost of $185 a month on the service agreement. It was also discovered the police department had a postage meter that we are paying a monthly service agreement on, and that there was an advance amount of $1,200 available on the meter. Lastly, it was discovered the police department had a $375 yearly subscription to the Illinois Criminal Statute book since 2011. It should be noted these Illinois criminal statutes are available online for free. Policy and procedure. We're moving forward with the implementation of Lexipol, which is the electronic policy and procedure manual. The funding from this came from the grant made available through the Illinois Public Risk Fund. Bulletproof vest. We we are evaluating the life cycle of the Officer Bulletproof Vest, and will be submitting the appropriate paperwork to receive grant funding from the Bureau of Justice Assistance to replace the vests, which are part of the respective, which are past their respective life cycle. That is the Chief's report, Madam Pro Tem. Mayor.
Thank you very much. Public Works Department, Kevin Miller.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Street lights in Sauk Village. We have all of our street lights up, our new ones up. We're starting on some of the fault locates. I reported last board meeting that we had 2 locations that we were going to start on. Due to some weather and some other jobs, we hadn't been able to start on those yet. But we have some part-time staff coming on in the next couple of weeks that will make all the openings for us to adjust on some of the street light problems. We also currently have some of the new street lights that are up. There's about 5 or 6 locations we're getting calls on, the lights going on and off. We'll deal with those by changing the heads out in the next couple weeks. So if you are calling about a street light, go ahead and call the village hall, leave your address at the front desk, and they will definitely give it to us. But we are aware of some of the regular ones that are currently out there. Buildings, as Trustee Jones said, we were working in the community center. We did do both floors, the gym floor and the rental side floor. We are working on touching up the cracks and some of the damage done inside the bleacher room, which is on the gym side. We have painted the whole room. We're going through the whole building currently right now, making sure that all the exit lighting and all the safety lighting is working. We have replaced also soap dispensers and hand towel dispensers, and the toilet paper dispensers will be next. This will all be with a great cost savings. It's easier to grab one piece out instead of grab the whole stack out and throw it away. Also potholes in Sauk Village. Due to the weather this year, we've had some really warm conditions. It's really bad for roadways if we don't have a frost line with the heavier vehicles. We are currently working on several locations in town. We have had several calls from residents on Willow Tree, there's been patchwork done, Prairie Avenue near one of the homes, Merrill, 21538 Merrill, which we're working on a street project over there. Sauk Point, Joshua, 223rd Street, 219th Street. Total tonnage in the last 2 weeks is about 6.4 ton. We will still continue, also when we get our part-time help, patching all the rest of the holes throughout the next several weeks. Water department personnel complete all their testing for EPA this month. They also are starting readings of meters on the north side and schools and commercials. Staff also had several billing issues, estimates that we had helped community development with, passing out letters, passing out notices to residents who have either stuck meters or non-payments. We're currently still working on those. Also, garbage in Sauk Village. We do have a lot of garbage on the roads. With the windy weather we've been having here, it seems like every garbage can is open rather than closed. So if you put your garbage can in the street, please close the lid, even on a windy day. Maybe keep an eye on it so we keep the garbage in the cans. As we start our regular cutting throughout the village, all locations, all village locations that we deal with, we will be picking up weekly. So we will definitely keep up along the way here. Hydrant valves repair. We have replaced 2 fire hydrants. One was at 22132 and the other was 22212 Torrance Avenue. Those are both brand new hydrants. We have several other ones set up, 2 to 3 more set up. We have, in order to do these other ones, we have to do some work on our main valves in order to shut the water down. But we have 3 other ones set up, which would be 22420, 22225, and at 2005, 223rd Street. The first 2 are actually Maryland addresses. These are all the same street basically, except the one is on the corner, which is on 223rd Street. Those will be the next 3 after we repair the 1 valve that we need to work on this. Vehicles, Public Works still working diligently with all departments, trying to keep the vehicles running. Some of them age, some of them just with normal maintenance issues. We have been assisting all departments, whether there's drop-off, pickups, parts, in any way we can. Sanitary sewer complaints in the last 2 weeks. We've had 2 complaints. Both were homeowner issues. We did let them know about the service line warranty if they didn't already have it. For anybody who's not familiar with that, there is a service sewer line warranty program. It's a monthly fee. It pretty much protects you against any backups and including some repairs to your sewer line. If you need the number, it's 1-866-922-9006. Weather events. During the last probably month and a half with all the wind, not much snow, but some of the snow we've had recently, we've had branches on trees that have come down. Residents normally would put those in the parkway. Within a few weeks after the events, we would come around. We've got a lot of work to do, so we haven't been around as quickly as we'd like. So any storm damage that was not picked up will be left until the first pickup of the month, which is our normal pickup of the year, which starts on May 2nd and ends on May 13th. All branches have to be out by May 8th to be picked up, with no exception. Parks. We've had staff out at the parks, definitely working on swing sets, chains, any concerns or complaints from anybody coming through a park with their children. If they have something that's broken, please call the village hall. We'll address that immediately. Staff is also out there looking at equipment that may have to be removed or repaired. There is some fencing around some of the parks that we have, the kids are playing on. So please, if you see them damaging the fence, damaging the equipment, call the police department, let them know so we can try to keep it standing properly. And then street signs. Street signs, we've been working pretty diligently on street signs. In the last 2 weeks, we've replaced 11 20-mile-an-hour signs, 13 no parking, 9 yield, 6 stops, and 4 street name signs. Also, 6 green poles, 6 square poles, 2 sleeves, 4 hangers, total of 43 signs and parts. If you have a street name sign or a stop sign or any signs in your block that are missing or damaged or graffitied on, again, please call the village hall, leave an address of the general location, and we will come by and we will replace as needed. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Welch. Administrative Services Director.
Mayor Pro Tem.
I'm sorry, Trustee Burgess.
Kevin, I just have a question because it was asked to me. When we give our report for the water, I think it's every quarter, is the lead count also in that report?
It depends on the year of the cycle report. The last lead and copper reporting was done in 2014. That would be the following year in 15. So we reported this year for any of the results the following year. So every report is 1 year off. So anything that would need to be reported about it would be in that CCR report coming up.
Okay, one coming up.
Yes.
Thank you.
It should be in everybody's mailbox by July 1st.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, Administrative Services Director, Ms. Sherry Jelinski.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. April 9th call for code enforcement, we had 99 tickets on the court docket. 5 were found not guilty, 3 were found liable, and 91 were found liable with default with double fines for non-appearance. I renewed my yearly certification for the FOIA officer, so that was done on March 29th. We found out that it has to be done yearly, so I took it right away to get it in compliance. Business license renewals are in the process. This year, our license period ends April 30th, so we're starting to do the licenses. And I mailed out 190 renewal letters for the contractors because their licenses also expire on April 30th. This concludes my report.
Thank you very much. Finance Director, Mr. Palmer.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and the Board of Trustees and Honorable Board.
Sauk Village Homeland Security Agency, Assistant Director.
Thank you, Madam Mayor Pro Tem and Board of Trustees. For the past 3 weeks, ESDA has responded to 16 calls. The ESDA department responded to 3 fire alarms, 3 vehicle accidents, 2 smell of gas, 1 CO alarm, 4 school patrol, 1 electric fire, 1 vehicle fire, and 1 medical assistant. That is my report.
Thank you very much. Human Relations Commission, Commissioner Frank Williams.
Thank you, Madam. Human Relations, we're going to have our dinner, popcorns, Olympic Fields, and University Park, Thursday at 6 o'clock. I'm so happy to announce that all of the members of our group have gotten together, and in June, late June, we're planning to have a thing for young people to do out behind Sauk. Out behind the village here, so they'd be able to do things. What we're going to start also doing is trying to get young people to be active in the village and doing things to help us do other things in the village, like cleaning up and doing things like that. The second thing is that we, as a human relation, has to understand that we try to get a lot of people to come on board. So next year, we're going to have the same thing with the diversity dinner, hopefully in the senior village. So we look forward to asking the trustee, the mayor, trustee, village clerk, and all those, please attend that. We will sign an application for you. Again, our next meeting is the first Monday of May. We back to anybody that come and want to return, please come and ask for some money. And that's in my report.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. I don't see Gary. Okay, thank you very much. Does anybody have, or did he submit a report to anybody? No? Okay. Then we will move to the senior committee report. The senior committee open senior activity continues every Friday, 12:30 to 3:30 with coordinators Steve Shimkus and Frank Williams. Yesterday, Bloom Township Speaker Anna Scramenti spoke on various services offered by the township. Flyers of the various services are located in the lobby. Many thank yous to the County Library for the delicious catered luncheon from Olive Garden. The movie King Solomon 9 was shown following the meal. Bloom Township Senior Department has many trips scheduled. April 21st to 22nd, Mystic Casino in Galena. May 26th, Majestic Star Casino. And September 25th through October 1st, Myrtle Beach Show Trip in Charleston, South Carolina. Reminder, the Township Community Luncheon is this Friday, April 15th, spring break. For additional information, call the Senior Department at 708-754-9400. The Golden Agers at Jones Memorial Community Center will meet tomorrow, Wednesday, April 13th at 10 a.m. Social hour, 10:30, meeting and lunch served at 11:30. Several trips are also offered. Annual dues are $5 plus $5 for lunch. Reservation and/or information, call 708-757-5395. The senior committee meeting is this Thursday, April 14th at 7 p.m. And that concludes that report. Moving on to item number 6, new business. A motion to approve all accounts payables and disbursements, March 23rd, 2016 through April 12th, 2016, according to Sauk Village policy. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions?
Question.
Trustee Keys.
What is the acronym for IFPCA?
Mr. Rock, can you? Oh, on the first page, he's talking about under accounts payable, IFPCA.
That is Illinois Fire Pension Association.
I noticed that there were 3, in addition to that, there are other immediate checks that were issued. And did this just come up and we knew that we had to issue immediate checks on these items, or?
It just came up about the fact that we had to issue, because otherwise there would be a late fee of something like that. That's why we try to pay it as soon as possible, in order to avoid about $25.
But I mean, we just met last Tuesday.
Probably about 5-6 days ago.
Okay, do you have a copy of this in front of you, right? Is he going to answer all?
Right now,
Yes.
I don't.
Oh, okay. That's it, you may answer something.
No, I'm not going to. Go,
Okay.
definitely go for it.
I wanted to back
Go
up.
for it.
All right, on the, let's see, I think it's page 2. Page 1, actually. It says warehouse direct office copy of paper for $1,170. And then I saw the same entry under the police administration.
Because all the departments are sharing the cost of papers. For example, if there are 28 reams of paper that is used for administration, we are going to charge that much to administration. The next reads whatever quantity is that is supplied to police department will be charged to police department. If there are any other paper supplies that is sent out to either fire or public works will be charged to public works, not fire department. It's allocated based on the number of reams used by or supplied to the department.
So is the actual cost $2,200 and it's split between the two departments?
Yeah, if you add them all the total cost, it will come up to, for example, if it comes to $4,000, it is shared by department to the proportionate number of reams paper that was applied to them.
Okay, and going down, and I'm looking, it's under administration, professional services, we paid out $85,300 for attorney fees.
Correct.
Over what period of time? That's not between April 1st and April 30th, correct?
That is for
It says August and September.
July and August of last year, but it still we are paying for them their old bills.
Do you, we owe them right now?
Yes.
Do roughly?
Roughly about $320,000, I think.
I'm sorry?
Roughly about $320,000, I think. I have provided the aging list. If you go through the aging list, it will show you how much we still owe orders and instruments.
Okay. Thank you. Go to page 3 on your document. Now we had, and this is under professional service for the police department. Now the amount here is $13,000 roughly to the attorney. Now that's not included in the $85,000.
No, it's not included. The total cost for that belongs to only the administration department. This is entirely for the police department for their cost of the union representation by a couple of attorneys.
On page 4, under general fund liability insurance, and it says audit workers' compensation, $18,000.
That is, the premium is based on an estimate beforehand, that is for the year January 1 of 2015 to December 31st, 2015. If we have reported a lower number of dollars in payroll expenditure, but in actuality when they compare to the total expenditure, if it exceeds the required or estimated payroll, they're going to charge us the remaining, the difference of $18,000. That's how we have gotten the $18,000 bill that is to be paid to the ITR.
Okay, if you look at page 6, pre-employment exams is listed under, for the fire audit services, for $2,470. You see? It's 1080.
Yeah, that is the physical for fire department personnel.
And how often is that done annually?
It is, I think it is on entry. Right.
That was for the fires. That was the physicals, the cost for the new fire protection physicals.
Chief, do you know how many people were involved in that? Offhand, do you know?
Pardon me?
Do you know how many individuals we're talking about?
3.
3? Okay, thank you. And if you look further down, the next item, Bud's ambulance service was paid $6,000. And I had inquired when they were here for the contract update, we were current with them, we are not. What figure are we looking at that we still owe Bud's ambulance service?
I I'm sorry, would you please repeat?
How much do we owe Buds?
Probably about 3 months' worth, approximately about 18,000.
About 18,000? So they're on the agent report also. That's all I have. Thanks, Ms. Moore.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Trustee Burke.
Mohan, on the first page, Baxter and Woodman, that $150, did that come from TIF?
Yes, it is coming from TIF. We short paid them about 3 months ago, $150, and I had to pay them another day.
Oh, okay. Now, what I was going to ask is all these immediate checks that we got, who did it go through? Did it go through yours, madam?
We go through the administrator as well as mayor.
I mean, who gave the okay? Because we were told that it would go through either the finance committee or you would, at least.
Mayor and the village administrator.
I'm sorry?
Mayor and the village administrator.
Per the policy, it has to go through 2 out of 3 people. And those 3 people would be myself as the chair, the mayor, or the village administrator.
Did you know about that?
No, it went through the village administrator and mayor.
Okay, because I'm just trying to figure out why is the board here if we're doing this and you're not getting any approval from the board, because the auditor stated that we should have something written. When we change money or when we pay immediate checks, that we should have a written something from the board or someone representing, or because even with the mayor and the village administrator, there was nothing that, we didn't know anything about this. I'll put it that way. I didn't know anything about this until we get this accounts payable. And as was stated a few minutes ago, I'm sure that these individuals that got the money to go on, I guess, this excursion, the village knew about this a while back. They didn't just know about this 6 days ago. They knew that they were going to be going, and this conference was going to be was going to happen. And they, so I'm just wondering. A lot of these. That's the reason what I'm saying. Why are we getting so much immediate checks? We're voting every week. I mean, we could have some type of meeting or something informal to let us know that this is due. And we need to take action on it immediately. That's, a lot of people say, why do we have meetings? This is one of the reasons, so we don't find out in a month later, because we didn't have a meeting the prior month, that we're transferring money. And also Baxter and Woodman, that's why I was wondering, because they usually do things for us in the TIF district, and I'm just wondering, why would they have to get an immediate check, but you clarified that it was missed. So that makes sense if it was missed or at that time, because they should never have that immediate check because there's money in the check.
Just as a reminder that all of these dollar amounts are under $1,000 as part of our budget and finance policy, that the finance director does have the authority to send off an immediate check if it's under $1,000, but he does have to have the written approval of 2 out of 3 members, and I'm going to say to myself as being one of those members, the mayor and the finance director. And that's part of the policy that was passed by the board. So that's how this was done, but I do agree if there should have been maybe an email or something to let the board know as far as what happened. And I will say that in the past, we've had a very long list of immediate checks, and this board has asked that the Budget and Finance Committee review with the finance director to limit. We've stated that we're not going to be able to cease all immediate checks, but we have asked for the finance director to work with us as a committee and vice versa, and the board to work in tandem to make sure that we try to limit. And I would like to say that 4 is a lot less than the long page that we used to get. So if we could just remember that per the policy, this was done, and also if the board could receive information. Understandable that things do come up between meetings. We have to run a business on a daily basis, but when that does happen, if the board could be notified and stated that this check was written for whatever reason, then that way that would at least get us more informed than coming here when we have to vote on it.
And the last thing, Mr. Mohan, I know it's not you, and it's probably not, and I know for certain it's not the village attorneys. However, I was looking at the bills, and a lot of the bills are conversations between the village attorney and personnel here at the village. We need to look at some of those things that we're calling the lawyers for to try to alleviate that. To owe this kind of money going into this budget, to still owe the lawyers that kind of money, because you're just paying up to August. You still got September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. You still have those bills, which is, as Mohan just stated, it's about 300 some thousand. Okay, we've already paid close to 500,000 now. We should look at these bills to see if we can alleviate. I mean, whatever we ask the lawyers to do, it's not free. I mean, I understand they'll take it, but we have to trim it from there too. I mean, it's not their fault. They're not coming out giving us a bill for nothing that we didn't ask for. So we either have to, you know, a lot of the people that are asking these questions have been in this position for years. It's not a training session. They have been in this position for years. But I don't like the fact that we have to owe them that much money starting a new budget, and we're telling these department heads that we got to trim the fat. We telling the department heads we have to, you know, cut your budget. But in the meantime, we have to start cutting ours as administrators to try to alleviate some of these questions, because a lot of these are questions, a lot of these are comments, a lot of these are things that we should know as village administrators what to and what not to ask. So I'm just asking that we try to work on that. I mean, they do a great job, because most places won't let you over that. Most places won't let you do that, but this law firm is great to do that. However, we have to take it upon ourselves to try to find a way that we should know by experience or something, because that's a lot of money. I mean, we just pay it August. That's a lot of money. Thank you.
We have a motion and a second on the floor.
I got a question.
Oh, I'm sorry, trustee Jones.
I just want to know, is this part of the hiring practice or for the Theodore polygraph services?
That is for the police recruitment expenditure. Police recruitment expenditure.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Burgess,
Yes.
Jones,
No.
Myers,
Yes.
Tate,
Yes.
Washington,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes. Okay. Motion passed. Motion to approve committee meeting minutes, March 15, 2016. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Village clerk, please call the roll.
Burgess,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Tate,
No.
Washington,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes. Motion carries. Motion to approve regular board meeting minutes, March 22nd, 2016. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Village clerk, please call the roll.
Burgess,
Abstain.
Jones,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Tate,
No.
Washington,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes. Item D, motion to approve a resolution authorizing and directing the submission of an application to the County of Cook, Illinois, requesting community development block grant funds for program year 2016 for the Village of Sauk Village, Illinois. And as we recall, this was the item that was discussed at the 6:45 meeting. So can I get a motion?
Oh, early is that?
Yes.
Oh, so moved.
Second.
Okay. Are there any questions?
My question still remains, why are you smiling?
Because I knew you were coming up with it. I was just going to tell the local attorney you were not present before. So during the 6:45 meeting, Trustee Tate had a question, and he directed it to Mr. Zarnick, and he stated that that was a question for the attorney.
Do you have a copy that you can share with your attorney?
Copy now.
Could you borrow someone's copy so that he'll know? If you look at, I had a question about the 5th paragraph. And towards the end, or the last sentence, it says, which funds may be used used on eligible activities for the benefit of low and moderate income residents. And my question was, it does not state definitively that the CDBG money, which I understand is going to be, we apply for $400,000, is, from this statement, it may or may not be used specifically for the items that are identified in this document.
I think this is just a form resolution that's been used in the past. I think the village would run into a lot of problems if they use the funds for some other purpose, because that's what the purpose of the funds is. It could be changed, it shall be used. If you.
Well, I'm just thinking, if the CDBG money is earmarked, specific uses.
From the county for specific communities, if they meet the criteria, it has to be used for specific purposes. If you went outside that, those parameters by the county, you would run the risk of having to pay the money back to the county.
Okay, but that becomes the village's problem. My concern here is, why is it so wide open that it could be used for something other than what it's intended for? Why isn't this more specific and say, you will use the $400,000 for, and be real specific about that instead of leaving it open?
Again, I'm not sure if my office prepared this or if we just used a draft resolution that's been used in the past. But if you're more comfortable changing the may to shall, I wouldn't have a problem with that.
That was my question earlier.
I don't know if I want to clarify, or from what I've known throughout the time I've been here, CDBG grant money is only used in certain areas of the village can qualify for it, correct?
Particular villages can qualify for it.
No, I'm talking about in certain areas of the village that qualify. In other words, that meet a certain criteria. So in other words, you can't use that CDBG grant money in the area where the income is at a certain level. You have to use MFT money for that, correct?
Right. No. I'm sorry.
All right. Trustee Burns, you have to have a certain low to moderate income percentage within a certain block.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Because a lot of people have asked, well, why didn't you do my street? Or how come my area wasn't done? If your area doesn't fall within a certain, I'll just say an income, that money, that particular money, that CDBG money cannot be used for that. But, however, you can use MFT anywhere. But a lot of times, and I'll put it this way, a lot of instances that we've combined the both. We had a project, and I do know that we had a project down Cats Point, 23rd Street. We used CDBG money for that, and we used MFT money because we didn't have enough CDBG money to complete that project. And that's what this falls under. That a lot of times people, how come my area doesn't qualify for a new street? I don't know why, who they talk to, they don't tell them that CDBG money, which we used to get $200,000 or $100,000, can only be used for that particular area that qualifies. We used to have a map that was up here that showed where CDBG grant money qualified for in the village. I don't know what happened to that map. I don't know if it took the transfer from over there over here and it didn't happen. But that kind of lets you know where that was used. But MFT can be used, that's motor fuel tax, can be used anywhere in the village. And it not have to be in conjunction, but a lot of times we've done that where it was in conjunction with that. So certain areas, and it's the truth, certain areas got money every year if they fit that criteria, certain areas did. So I just wanted to kind of bring that to the strong foot, because a lot of people have been asking, and that's what Trustee Takes got that from, because they were asking that same question. And it made it sound like on this board, that is only used for low income. In essence, it is, but that area, you have a balance, you have an average. If that area falls in that average, then it can be used.
Do we have that information? What's the restricted area, or what the areas are eligible for and which are not?
Do you have a map? Yes, we keep it current with through our GIS, or geographic information system, and it changes year to year. So every year when we go to file a new application, we have to check to make sure that the areas are eligible.
Madam Pro Tem, I don't want to be out of order. Is it possible you ask him if he could provide that to us so that we would have it?
You can go ahead. He just heard you. A lot more lenient.
Okay.
I can apply you a copy of that if you like.
Would you please?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, Village Clerk, please call the roll.
Burgess.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Tates.
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes. Okay, item number 7, miscellaneous comments from the Mayor and Board of Trustees. Trustee Myers? Trustee Tates?
Yes. A couple of things, and I'm not sure who it's directed to. We agreed to spend over $300,000 on computers and software in order to talk to Calc. And I was wondering, have those computers been received, installed in the vehicles, or where they're going to be installed, and are they operating? That's one. I think at the last meeting we received documents from one of the village residents that talked about the treasurer and contradicted information that we had received previously regarding the treasurer. And I was hoping that at some point there'll be an executive session where trustees can ask questions relating to that. The piggyback on that is that by the state rule, we should be receiving treasurer's reports. And I understand that he's no longer permitted in the building or operating in the building, however you want to be termed. Has that been delegated to someone so we can start receiving at least monthly treasury reports? I see you writing fast, so I will slow down if you want.
You're fine.
Oh, okay. The next thing that I have is that I thought, it's been almost 2 years, if I'm not mistaken, that money was allocated to update the bulletproof vests for our law enforcement personnel. And I think that was through the alcohol and drug intervention program, and I'm not sure the name of it. But money was allocated to purchase update vests for our officers, and now we're still discussing the same issue. So I'd like to know were those vests purchased within the last couple of years that the money was supposedly set aside for. The next thing, and I'm not going to point to Mr. Mohan because he's talking. I think the village spends probably $40,000 to $50,000 on audits that we go through every year. And I know the mayor calls them suggestions and I call them infractions, and we had that discussion for comments. I don't think the village should be paying $40,000 to $50,000 for audit if we're still going to make the same mistakes year after year. It's wasteful spending, is what I call it. If we're going to do what we normally do and ignore what the rules are of the game, then I don't think we should be paying $40,000 to $50,000 from the village. The last thing, we had the group, the Spark GLX Corporation out and gave an overview about building new homes in Sauk Village from 130 and top out $190,000. And I had mentioned this to a couple of residents prior to that meeting, because we did not, the housing committee did not receive that document, so they had a chance to review it and maybe add input or ask questions to it. But anyway, when one of the trustees mentioned he had tried to access this company through their website, and I know the mayor said that he could do it, but I also tried that evening and I could not access that with the website information provided, access that corporation. And I also placed a telephone call to the number, and it was a personal cell phone, and I expected it to say Stark GLC Corporation or something like that. During this presentation, they talked about the $130,000, $150,000 homes being constructed, and the mayor said that we could not prevent them from doing that. And I would like to suggest that the ordinance committee sit down and come up with the ordinance. We should not say that a company can move in a Sauk Village and do whatever they want to do, and we can't do anything about it. If we need an ordinance to protect the interests of the village, then that's what I suggest the ordinance committee do. The mayor also stated that the home values have gone up $60,000. And I would like for you to make a note. I'd like to know his source of that information, because the information I've received as of last meeting is that actually the housing rate or cost has decreased instead of increasing 60,000. The last information I had was $30,000 decrease. So these are conflicting statements. Now I can certainly, if he wants to provide his source of information that says that things have increased to $60,000, I certainly have no problem in providing the information to show the decrease. And I think we should not mislead our residents into thinking that if your home or the homes on your strip or your street have decreased to the $20,000, $25,000 limit, that someone is going to put $190,000 in a vacant lot that's going to be built next to you.
Just keep it down.
No, keep talking. You don't have to keep it down. So I think that we need to keep our residents informed and give them the opportunity to know exactly what's going on. This company was here, and I think there were like 8 individuals. I stopped counting after a while. And it was a gentleman that was in the audience that was attempting to ask questions, and the mayor told him he could not, because it was not the public comment portion of the agenda. And the gentleman unfortunately left. But what happened during the interim is that they were escorted out. And so when it came to public comment, they weren't here to answer questions from the residents. And we even had one resident standing up and ask questions. If you suggestion, if people are going to come here and make a presentation, then the audience have a right for public comment to ask them questions. That group or that person should stay here so they can respond to the question. The resident that was here that had questions, they still are unanswered because the source of information are no longer present. So instead of them being escorted out, it would have been nice for them to have a seat and look into the public comment and get all the feedback they perhaps needed. But I am shocked this company does not show up as portrayed, but that's just my personal opinion. Thank you.
Just a couple things. You said you saw me writing. I will email the mayor these questions and your comments, but just to state, the mayor did state that he could pull up the website at the meeting, and I did too. So I could pull it up. I did not make the phone call, but I could pull up the website, and so I did kind of peruse it during the meeting, but not too thoroughly. And just as far as my personal view about the company is, I don't know that being part of the co-chair of the ordinance review committee, I don't know that we can make an ordinance to stop something like this, but if the area is zoned for housing and there's a housing company, a housing development that wants to come in, if they meet our guidelines and our codes, then we can't tell them they can't build a house. Going from that though, as you stated before, maybe they have a good resource to find people who will purchase these homes, and if they do, that's great. That's homeowners in Sauk Village, and that's nice homes that they're gonna be bringing here. I don't know that it's something that's going to happen, because if I was looking for a home and I was seeing that homes next door to the home that they were gonna be selling me was $60,000 and they were charging me $140,000, I don't know that fiscally that would be a good idea for my family, but to each his own. And if they have a resource where they can find people to do that, and they are helping us bring homeowners and developments to Sauk Village, I think it's a great idea. But again, I think that they will have to work very hard in order to find the people to buy these homes.
Yeah, and I'm just concerned that if we don't do what we need to do to help protect residents or potential home buyers, that we're being remiss. If there's something we can do to help. Years ago, there was a thing called the Fair Housing Review Board that was here. And that was developed because of realtors were being predatory. And that board was developed to curtail that. As a matter of fact, some realtors were denied the opportunity to work in Sauk Village. That's protecting our residents and potential residents. I don't have personally good feelings about this company, and I've talked to about 4 people, that's all. So it's a small sample, who have had contact with individuals involved in this company, and they are not positive. So I just want to make sure we safeguard the residents and the potential residents of Sauk Village.
I'm not sure when your next housing meeting is, or I know that Mr. Holcomb's not here, but that may be something that either you two can work in tandem with or individually, and see if there's something that you find through your research that we can put through as the form of an ordinance. I'm sure, I don't want to speak out of turn as the chair, so I'm just co-chair, but if the housing committee does find something that they can present to the ordinance review committee, I'm sure that that's something that we would review, and Mr. Zinsky has a comment.
There's some regulations for subdivisions in the zoning ordinance that specify what kind of trees need to be planted. It's pretty detailed, so that is in place already, just so everybody knows. It's in the zoning ordinance. Have you got a copy of that? I'll make you a copy. I'll make sure the new trustees who doesn't have a copy of that? Trustee Casey, Mr. Jones, I'll get you a copy of that tomorrow. It'll be in your box.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you, Madam President.
Madam Chair, just one question. Sherry, am I correct that before anything goes down, they still have to meet with you to set up a time to notification, everything to go in front of the zoning board, because it is a new subdivision.
Not for new construction, on residential.
It's a new subdivision they're looking at. Right.
They have to pay their taxes to the school, their water connection fees.
Right.
There's steps that need to be taken that's done through the permit process before they can get issued a building permit to build a new home. Can we stop them? No, as long as they comply with all of our regulations.
There's several things that, as Trustee Tate brought up, several things they mentioned in their meeting that is directly against our ordinances on building codes and everything. However, the last thing the gentleman did state was they will have all their permits and stuff per HUD and from the federal government. That puts a whole different barrier on things. That I would probably recommend that we should put it through our zoning people and let them look at it. Because once we accept that and they're come in to the village, all it is my opinion, all it is a national home, put it up. He stated that they put the built the product in a factory someplace else, shipped to the site, put it up on the site. People, that's what 87% of our home is in this town. And they had to go through our permit and code review too. But what bothered me is that a said we will follow the HUD and the federal government guidelines. That is a part that bothers me. That's where I feel that either your office look into or our attorney office look into, because if we let them come in and if they're going to follow the HUD and the federal guideline, we might not be able to do anything and we're stuck with whatever they put up.
Well, yeah, that would have to go to the attorneys for review. I mean, I don't know what those specifications are for that.
Madam Co-Chairman, at this point, I would like to ask the attorney if they could look into that entire organization and find out if they ever find out anything through the state's attorney or anything at all. I too try to come up with some stuff on them. And when the Cook County don't have any information on it, we have a problem. Cook County has quite a bit of information on any subdivision or housing development.
Okay. Mr. Fairman?
You know, the purpose of, contrary to the way it's coming out, the purpose of, we have spent a lot of time with them. They came out and talked to us. We said, we'll let you talk to the board or suggest you talk to the board. There have never been a recommendation, never thought about her, very, very aware of what happened to people out here. And so we said, okay, instead of us making a recommendation, contrary to somebody that said, Fairman said it's good, just bring it to the board and see if they're interested. Just like the guy that came up here, we're gonna put cans on one of the tips. That's all the purpose was. Nothing has been proposed, nor will it be proposed. Because I'm aware of what happened, and so a lot of the people have advised me what happened with the houses, that people were sold, and the economy went out there, so we just brought up you guys, say, look at this, just like the guy that came in here and talked about that. That's it. There's no recommendation from us, nothing.
Trustee Cates?
It's not about recommendation. When the guys came in with the containers, the residents were allowed to ask questions of that company. My comment was that they were escorted out of here before public comment, and therefore the residents that had questions, they went unanswered because the source wasn't here. It has nothing to do with recommendations by you or anyone in the village. But if, as practice, if we bring someone, anyone brings someone out to talk to the village, meaning the administrators and the residents, then everyone has input, or should have the opportunity for input, because it affects everyone's lives. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not accusing anyone of anything other than escorting them out before public comment. That's the only accusation I have.
All right. Trustee Jones?
Just be on the lookout for the flyers for the summer program. I'm pretty sure the majority of the residents, kids, may be able to attend this program for free. There will be lunch and breakfast provided. So just be on the lookout for the details with the flyers coming up in mid next week. That's it.
Trustee Washington?
Thank you, Madam Pro Tem. Just want to recap, just want to remind everyone again that the play is this coming Friday at Rickover. And like I said earlier, we're very, very excited about the play. If anyone want to make that challenge tonight before I leave, with all of the talk about the play and neighborhood watch and what's going on with the committee, we have been able to raise to date $980 for that play, going to a book bag. So my committee is very, very excited for all of those that have been talking about the neighborhood watch and talking about the play. It's made a real big stir, and it has spread a lot of enthusiasm. The people that are coming have been working very hard. We've been in rehearsals ever since January, so I am very relieved that the play date is here. If you can't come, you can make a donation. Like I said again, we are going to have a special sitting for our elected officials in and out of Sauk Village, as well as other dignitaries that are coming. And if you come, you're going to get a big treat. Thank you.
Trustee Burgess?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. But just two things I have. First off, the town hall meeting will not be the 20th because we have just this scheduled for our budget hearing. So it will be the 27th. That's the fourth Wednesday of the month here in the village. So I passed out flyers that stated the 20th. So if anyone has those flyers, please right now put down the 27th. will be the fourth Wednesday of the month. And the second thing, I just want to say this as observation. I just want to thank you, Madam Pro Tem, for letting the board members, for the first time in a long time, be very informative to the residents, because a lot of times the residents don't get questions asked, or it's past the time that the residents gets a chance to answer questions, and then when we come, we just give our little reports and things. But I just want to say this was a good board meeting tonight. I'm hoping that the people that are videotaping this board meeting don't miss this one and put it out there on social media so they can really see, because tonight was a lot of questions asked by the trustees to the department heads, and they were answered. And a lot of times the board members don't get the audience doesn't get a chance to ask those questions because it's past the time that they're supposed to ask questions. So tonight was great. I'm sure they learned a lot. And I just want to say thank you, and it was a great meeting.
Thank you. Anything else? Okay, then can I have a motion to adjourn? All those in favor? Meeting adjourned.
He's out of town. I'm not about here with over sick. So I'm going to get about 6, about 8. I'm pretty sure I can. You'll know what you're doing. You want to see somebody just come sit on my lap and see
so much easier.